Hi, I'm Christopher Warnock of Renaissance Astrology, and today I want to talk about a new page on my website that deals with some very interesting interrelated concepts. That's the guardian angel, the personal daemon, the Almuten Figuris, and Picatrix's discussion of perfect nature. So let's start in on the guardian angel. The holy and guardian angel is something that is very important in a lot of modern magical traditions. Aleister Crowley was very interested in it. Probably the most popular expression of the holy guardian angel comes through the Abramelin operation. Now, this was a medieval text, but it's kind of been taken as the be-all and end-all of dealing with the guardian angel. And as we'll see, this is not really true. So the guardian angel actually has much deeper roots than this. They exist in Christian theology. This is pretty standard Catholic practice. There's a nice prayer to the guardian angel that's taught to children. Again, that's very useful to do regularly. And then in Neoplatonic philosophy, which is even older, they discuss the personal daemon, which is a specific spirit that's assigned to you. The daemons, that's where the word demon comes from, but these are not negative spirits. They can be positive, negative, neutral. They're intermediaries. And just like angelos in Greek means messenger. Angels are messengers, are doing work for God. So in the Christian theology, and of course in Neoplatonic thought as well, there's many different types of daemons and angels. They're sort of infinite numbers of them. They have all sorts of different jobs. And the ones that are assigned to us, the angels, are sort of at the lowest of the totem pole. There's lots of spirits above them that they're under the control of or less powerful than. But it's interesting because we think of people as a guardian angel. There's a Talmudic commentary midrash that says every blade of grass has a guardian angel. In fact, that's very similar to the Shinto, the Japanese view of the kami, that everything has a spirit. So whether we consider it to be sentient or insentient or animate or inanimate, everything is full of gods, everything is full of spirits in these traditional views. So if we go back to talk about the guardian angel and daemon, essentially their function is to guide you, to protect you. Iamblichus, who's a 3rd century Neoplatonic philosopher, had a lot of interesting things to say about the personal daemon. He says, for example, that the soul chooses that daemon before it manifests. And then when the soul takes on the body in the manifested form, the daemon is there to guide it and then also to coordinate things spiritually, but also even physically. So there's also been various identifications of the personal daemon, the guardian angel, with astrological, with the chart. Some sources will say the chart ruler, some will say the ascendant ruler. Iamblichus says, no, you can't identify just one point. You have to look at the entire cosmos. Now, Robert Zoller, who is my sort of magical teacher, he takes Iamblichus' comment as saying, hey, we should be looking at the Almuten Figuris, because the Almuten Figuris, if you use Ibn Ezra's method, you look at a whole bunch of chart points. And so we're looking at a whole variety of things. We're kind of giving a whole slice of the entire chart and giving us the strongest planet over many, many points. We'll talk about that a little bit later as we come on. So a key role of the guardian angel, really beyond the guidance and protection, is also to act as an intermediary and as a way of contacting higher spirits or higher spiritual realities. So that raises the point. I mean, we generally tend to think of the guardian angel, the personal daemon, as a separate being, but also we need to think of it as part of ourselves, and in a sense that you are you are a manifestation of a higher self in your material form, and so the guardian angel is part of that whole complex. Now, Zoller says that the guardian angel is the seed idea. It's the sort of root cause of your existence as a separate being, and that seed idea continues during your life to kind of manifest in a positive way to keep you on track to manifest the purpose for which you were sort of came into being. So, in terms of the guardian angel, contacting the guardian angel, that's obviously considered to be very important. Again, Aleister Crowley was very important, felt that was a very important part of magical practice. The Abramelin operation, as I said, is probably the most well known. That's very laborious. It's a long-term thing. You have to sort of isolate yourself from between 16 and 18 months, depending on which source you're looking at. But this isn't the only method of contacting the guardian angel. There's many different ways. I have information about that on my webpage, which is it's basically guardianangel.html, but also you can see the description and the YouTube description there. You can see you can cut and paste out of that if you want to get that link directly. So I give lots of different methods for this. Patrick Dunn, for example, is a contemporary theurgist, gives a very sort of traditional theurgic ritual. Robert Zoller has a meditation that he says is a substitute for theurgic invocation. So there's lots of different methodologies. There's even doing the Catholic guardian angel prayer on a regular basis. So these are all very useful and all very worthwhile to do. So one of the most interesting things, and something that I do in all my natal readings, at least in the full natal, the spiritual path reading, and the mage reading, is to use the natal chart, to provide a guardian angel personal daemon name. So I use a method from Agrippa. It's book 3, chapter 26. He has a variety of different things. I use his Arabian method. And in this method, what you do is assign each degree of the zodiac. There's 360 degrees. Each degree is assigned a letter. And then we look at the 5 high legal points. Now, the high legal points are used for various types of calculations. Almuten Figuris, for example, as well as the length of life calculations. In this case, what we're looking at are the degree of the sun, the moon, the ascendant, the part of fortune, and the prenatal syzygy. Now, that's a fancy name for the full moon or a new moon that was immediately previous to birth. So we look at the degree, the zodiac of those points, see which letter is assigned to them. You know, if we assign them. Now, what we do is start with 0 Aries, and we do A, since we're using English, and then 1 Aries, it'd be B, and then C, D, E, F, G, all the way through. I use English because I'm fluent in English. When I get a string of English letters, I can add vowels to it. I can figure out how to pronounce it. It's not something I can do with Hebrew, even though Hebrew is very popular. You basically can use any alphabetic language. You wouldn't be able to use Chinese because obviously that doesn't have an alphabet. That's basically the methodology. Like I said, if you get a natal reading from me, that's provided as part of that reading. I've had 2 clients tell me that they had contacted their guardian angel through other methods, and that actually the names that had been given through the astrological chart, through the reading, had been similar to what the guardian angel had said directly. Now, one of them said they actually had multiple names, which again, that doesn't surprise me that there'd be multiple names. So I thought it was very useful, because actually what we're dealing with here with producing these charts, names through charts, is I think really it's a Time Lord. Because if you think about it, what you're dealing with with those 5 high legal points, now the degree of the full moon or new moon isn't going to change that much. It's going to take days for that to change. The ascendant, the sun and the moon are going to change over the course of the day, but the ascendant and the part of fortune are the ones that are going to be most quickly changing. Ascendant's going to change every 2 to 3 minutes with 1 degree, ticking in there. So basically, you got a 2 to 3 minute time period, and then if you move more than about 50 miles, you'll change a degree as well. That's a degree of longitude. So you're talking about a Time Lord controls things that happen within 2 to 3 minute time period within about 50 miles. So unless somebody's born within 2 to 3 minutes of you within that 50 miles, they're going to have a different name. So again, what the exact identification there is with the guardian angel, that's interesting. Now, another thing that people will raise is they're like, well, you gave me this name and I went and Googled it and I didn't find anything. Well, if you think about that, 7 billion people in the world, that means 7 billion unique guardian angel names, Time Lord names. So you're really not going to be able to, I don't know who's going to sit down and spend their time looking through 7 billion names and then putting them all up on the internet. So you're not going to be able to Google this. This is unique to you. Very interesting thing to do. And like I said, it was interesting to me that Time Lord name was confirmed as being one of the names that the guardian angel would respond to and would acknowledge as its name. So the final thing I'd like to talk about is perfect nature. Now, Picatrix, book 3, chapter 6, I've actually gone ahead and put that section on my website. It's linked from the guardian angel page, but also put the URL there. At least partially in that YouTube thing, so you can't click it, but you'd be able to cut and paste that, or at least add on to it. The perfect nature is something that is discussed in Picatrix. And Picatrix cites Socrates, who says, "What is perfect? What is the key by which science and philosophy are open?" And he answered, "Perfect nature." And they said, "What is perfect nature?" And he says, "Perfect nature is the spirit of the philosopher or sage linked to the planet that governs him." So that's very interesting. This is presented as being really the height of what the astrological magic needs to strive for, that the greatest mysteries, that the greatest mastery is not possible without the perfect nature. And then Picatrix gives an invocation of perfect nature. It's very interesting. Pictures of oil, butter, and wine, and then a sort of confection of sugar, honey, and oil, and you put this on a table, burn incense, and then you invoke your perfect nature. So in one sense, it's separate from you. In another sense, this is really already there. This is something that you're basically becoming aware of your higher self. And Picatrix says, "This is that which opens the closed doors of knowledge, and by which is understood which cannot otherwise be understood at all, and by which workings proceed naturally both in sleep and in waking." And Robert Zoller ties his perfect nature in with the dignification that's mentioned by Agrippa. Again, this is a spiritual purification process of gaining spiritual knowledge and wisdom, and then this ascension to these higher spiritual realities, which again Agrippa and also as Picatrix does says this is necessary for the highest magical mastery. So it's interesting discussing all this. I don't think it's really possible to nail everything down. Is it this or that? You're going to get to a point where we say, well, we don't know. Clearly, when we look at guardian angel, personal daemon, perfect nature, these are all interconnected and interrelated. The other thing I think has become clear to me is that there's a lot of different spirits that are involved here. That, we talk about what's my one guardian angel. Well, there's probably multiple spirits who are giving you guidance and multiple spirits that you're under the rulership of. So again, trying to nail it down or trying to be too precise or trying to limit it, I think, is somewhat a mistake. We're going to need to have a sort of open attitude about this and be willing to discover things and look into it in a open and flexible way. One thing that's interesting to think about is the guardian angel is unique, but nevertheless is also connected to the planetary rulers. That's where this Almuten Figuris and the perfect nature stuff becomes very interesting, because in the sense that we do have a more or less unique guardian angel, yet that guardian angel is also then connected to one or more, because an Almuten Figuris can be more than one planet, one or more planetary spirits. So we have sort of an interesting combination of uniqueness and commonality there. Now, this whole working with the guardian angel, the perfect nature, clearly this can be used for magical effects. And that's fine as a focus. There's nothing wrong with it. But it's also points away to theurgic use. So in the sense that you can use this for enlightenment or for higher mystic union. So this is really providing a special celestial connection. So we're looking for a connection to higher realities. We can do that through this Almuten Figuris, through the perfect nature, through the guardian angel. And that provides us an astrological identification, an astrological methodology for that mystic higher union. So I think that's very interesting too, because we talk a lot about spiritual astrology, and it's hard often to identify exactly what that is, particularly since our sources are talking about getting wealth or getting all these material or effects for the ego self. This points beyond the ego self. Because ultimately, again, when we're talking about this guardian angel, this is something that's really not other than us. When you're contacting the guardian angel, it's not as if there's some other being out there that you've never had anything to do with. They're there all the time. You're just not conscious of it. So essentially what this whole process is bringing into consciousness this connection that already exists. And also, ultimately what we're figuring out is that, that the guardian angel is really not other than us, but we're not who we thought we were. And I think that's one of the most important realizations in the spiritual quest. So I think it's really fascinating. We've really only come, and I say preliminary, for example, conclusions on the end of that page, and that's really at. We're in a preliminary stage, but I think it's very exciting, and I think there's a lot of interest in the guardian angel, personal daemon. Like I said, you can get that personal guardian angel or daemon name as part of a natal reading for me if you get those natal readings. Also on that guardian angel page, you can see lots of information about how to do this yourself if you want to look at your own natal chart and figure it out. So there's all sorts of interesting and exciting things to be looking at and lots of possible sources and things to jump off from. So I hope you'll check out that guardian angel page. As I said, I'm going to put in the description how to get there in the YouTube, and then you can also search on our page for it as well. If you just go on the search page of Renaissance Astrology and New Guardian Angel, you'll come up with that page. So very exciting, and I hope you'll take advantage of this page and on your spiritual journey.